Hey guys, welcome back. Now, parallel universes have been explored in Doctor Who multiple times, but in the real world, one not too far from us saw several episodes never happen because they were so nearly never made in ours. Today, I'm going to be going over 5 episodes that nearly never happened and how they would have affected the show. The Power of the Doctor marked the sad ending to the brilliant 13th Doctor and was there to mark the BBC centenary anniversary. It saw a range of companions and Doctors come back, some for the first time since they were last in the show. However, originally, Series 13 only had 8 episodes commissioned, the 6 Flux episodes, plus Eve of the Daleks and Legend of the Sea Devils. Meaning that before they were told that they could make the centenary special The Power of the Doctor, The Legend of the Sea Devils was going to be the 13th Doctor's last episode. No matter what you think of The Legend of the Sea Devils, I personally loved it. I don't feel like it was a fitting end story for the 13th Doctor, and to somehow manage to fit in a regeneration scene, plus Yaz and Dan's exit on top of that. So it's really good that The Power of the Doctor went ahead, because it saw the return of the Master, the Daleks, the Cybermasters, and the return of some companions like Ian Chesterton, played by William Russell. Another one would have been The Day of the Doctor, but just not in the way that we knew it. Now, of course, the 50th anniversary episode would have gone ahead one way or another. However, this one saw more reworks than most. Now, as you may know, Christopher Eccleston declined to come back as the Ninth Doctor, but he was given the possibility. Now, had he have accepted, there were some possibilities of how it would have worked. One possibility is in the name of the Doctor, the 11th Doctor would have walked into his time stream and then rewoke as the 9th Doctor with the moment hovering over him, asking what he just thought, having dreamt his 10th and 11th incarnation. Another possibility was again the 11th Doctor walked into his time stream, but walked onto a battlefield with the 9th Doctor hovering over the big red button. Now, of course, this never happened because Christopher Eccleston declined, and the War Doctor was created, played by John Hurt. But the other possibility which nearly made our Day of the Doctor never happen was when the only contracted actor for the 50th anniversary was Jenna Coleman. Stephen Moffat created an idea around this just in case, and it would have been again the 11th Doctor walking to his time stream, but this time erasing himself, leaving Clara to save the day. And in the 50th anniversary episode, through famous actors, she would have seen the Doctor in movie and stories and would have helped to remember him and bring him back. Thankfully, we got Clara and the proper Doctors in our Day of the Doctor. As spoke about in my last video, Twice Upon a Time was another episode to nearly never exist. This would have been the second last Doctor episode in a row to nearly never happen. Now, what happened was Chris Chibnall didn't want to have his first episode start with a Christmas special. I feel partly because he didn't want to have a Christmas special episode, and partly because he wanted to begin his era in his first series to have as much views for the first series as possible. But Stephen Moffat wanted the Doctor Falls to be his last ever episode. So as Chris Chibnall was certain on this, Stephen Moffat stepped in and wrote Twice Upon a Time, as he was worried if they missed this Christmas then Doctor would lose its Christmas slot forever. Now, of course, as well, Bill was never actually meant to be in this episode either, but as Stephen Moffat was writing it, he noticed that it would be much more fun if they had Pearl Mackie as Billion. So he texted Pearl Mackie and asked if she wanted to come back, and her response was that was the best text ever. The next episode we could have lost in a blink. Now, originally, Russell T Davies wanted Stephen Moffat to write the 2-part Dalek story in Series 3, and thankfully he declined writing Blink instead. However, it's quite a scary possibility thinking that the Blink that we know, which is such a strong Doctor episode, considered to be one of the best, could have never existed. Now, also, it throwed up the possibilities that the Weeping Angels, one of New Who's most iconic villains, could have never existed. Thankfully that they would have most likely have done, because he already got the idea well before this, having seen a statue on a family holiday and getting the idea from that. However, if the Weeping Angels did never exist, it could have made huge ripples in the Doctor's then future. Think about Amy's departure, how would she have left instead? The final episode is Revolution of the Daleks. Now, this one was always planned to have gone ahead, however, a certain pandemic in 2020 could have meant it was erased forever. Now, Chris Chibnall was worried that filming it with Series 12 in 2019 was too far in advance, seeing it was meant to be airing in 2021, so it was considered that they filmed it with Series 13. Thankfully, they did go with filming it in Series 12 as it wasn't restricted by any filming restrictions, because had they have done it with Series 13, it would have been radically changed if they could have even gone ahead with it at all, having filmed it just a few months before it was meant to go out. So thankfully they did do it with Series 12, and what Chris Chibnall was originally worried about, the certain elements no longer being relevant, were thankfully a lot more relevant then than when it was first filmed, pointed out by Chris Chibnall. But we know, thanks to the script of Revolution of the Daleks being released, that there was one scene that did never happen, and that was Jack bursting through the doors breathless after Ryan and Graham had just left. But what for, and was he a big part of Series 13? We'll never know. And that's 5 Doctor Who episodes that did nearly never happen. Quite scary if you think about it, considering some of them are so important in Doctor Who's history and had some really important things happen in them which just managed to be a reality. But can you think of any more? Let me know in the comments below, I'd love to hear it. And make sure to subscribe for next week's video on 5 episodes that did never happen and how they could have affected the show that we know and love. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and hopefully see you in my next video soon. Thank you for watching and take care.